They should not be supporting anything like that. You know what I'm saying? We see that one factor drives Trump, driving Trump's apparently upstippled parallel drive for the Republican presidential nomination, underscored by his, I guess, torching of soul rival Nikki Haley in Michigan. Who the fuck? Nikki Haley ain't the right person. Because first of all, she coming in on a scandal basis. She coming on a scandal basis. So right there, that disqualifies her as a vice president as a female. We have to have a better candidate than that in Michigan. And the blocking by his supporters in Congress, Biden's latest Ukraine aid package, Trump said what he disliked loud and often, but struggled to articulate the solution. Trump hyper not nationalistic prejudice, I guess, prejudice filled fact-free Americans' first platform reflects the physical desire to disengage. Yeah, I would too, because it needs to stop. You know what I'm saying? As a president, he shamefully shamefully appeased Russia, wrecked the Iran nuclear deal. This is all creep Joe Biden. Wrecked the Iran nuclear deal and made a fool of himself in North Korea, while sourcing discord in Europe. He engaged Netanyahu in Israel, you know what I'm saying, extremists to Stimes, Palestine, Palestine aspiration, and ignored Hamas, while dispatching his son-in-law to cut lucrative deals with Arab princeling under the girth of peacemaking. Trump hyper-national prejudice-filled fact-free Americans first platform reflects deep hostility and hostility and ignorance of the world and is this circle or whatever or whatever desire to disengage. This manifests itself in the scenario competent for NATO. The EU, most European, all immigrants, free trade, environmentalists, and UN and international treaties indulge of autocrats and like-minded anti-demon Democrats such as Putin and overly aggressive attribute to a competitor such as China. Despite some what the fuck is he talking about? Vengeance, I guess some conventions, you know what I'm saying? The choice between Trump and Biden on the foreign policy and American international role is stark. Trump wants to be world top dog, yet rejects the responsibility of global leadership. Creep Joe Biden, a firm believer in U.S. as an indispensable nation, exertionally embrace them worryingly public opinion by tipping Trump ways. The annual Gallup World Affairs Survey conducted last month found fewer Republicans fewer Republicans than ever. 61 think the U.S. should play a leading or majority international role. The Joe Biden era ideas of the U.S. as global policeman is now supported by only 65% of American overall. You know what I'm saying? Around 10% of Republicans voted favor complete isolation. Yeah, they're full of shit. You ain't supposed to be policing the motherfucking thing because all you did, the policing that you're doing is fucking up the world. While you claim that you are doing something for the world. You know what I'm saying? They're full of shit altogether, guys. It's just the way it is. And people have to start realizing that. You know what I'm saying? People have to start realizing that. You know what I mean? It's bullshit altogether. They should not be policing the world because really and truly what they're doing, to me, is fucking up the world. Let's just be honest with you. What kind of deal or what kind of policing the world he did when he created NATO and using NATO to bully other nations. You know what I'm saying? Using it to bully other nations and especially picking on nuclear nations. You know what I'm saying? But we see Trump on the ballot, but the Supreme Court left key constitutional questions unanswered. This is coming in by John and Marshall, you know what I'm saying, 4 hours ago. We know it's a late here nor there edition, CNN, creepy ass lying news. You know what I'm saying? But we see this much is certain. You know what I'm saying? The President Donald J. Trump name will appear on the ballot. Yay! On the ballot this year as voters in every state choose a president. Like they did the last time and put Joe Biden in there, cheat him in there. And Trump knew it was nothing he could really do because he couldn't prove it and the world wouldn't let him prove it, nor would the media. But while the unsigned 13-page opinion, the Supreme Court hands down Monday decisively solved the uncertainty around Trump eligibility for a second term. It left unsettled questions that could someday boomerang back to the justice. You know what I'm saying? Could demon Democratic lawmakers, you know what I'm saying, for instance, disqualify Trump next January when the electoral votes are counted if he wins the November election? You know what I'm saying? Could a state keep the president, Donald J. Trump, keep a president seeking a third term in violation of the 22nd Amendment off its ballot? That's a good question. Some degree of uncertainty after the decision was likely unavoidable. The High Court was scrambled on an expedient court was scramble for a timeline to quickly decide a fraud dispute with an eye towards a consensus among the justices who are, you know what I'm saying, who are amongst the consensus, who are in itself, you know what I mean? The high judge, hold on a second, the high justice, you know what I'm saying, unanimously agree state can't boot the state. In other words, a consensus among the justices who are often sharply divided, you know what I'm saying, divided on major political and cultural questions. In the end, The justice unanimously agree states can't boot a presidential candidate because of the 14th Amendment insurrectionist ban, though it splintered, over why that is the case. Because, jackass, a state should not have the power to choose to eliminate in their state a president or a president who has been cheated out of his seat and trying to regain his spot in order to clean this world up. And you're down with a demon Democrats who is trying to cause all kinds of problems in our country based on the fact that you side with them. An election is a free election. It's an election that is people are freely allowed to place their vote. So for a state to tell a president, that would be prejudice and racist all in itself. So a state cannot do that constitutionally because the state could be causing a tyranny or chaos at the same time that can lead to a domino effect that should not be in free states or the United States under Section 14 of the Constitution, seeing that an insurrectionist you're choosing only one part of the article in the Constitution to express the fact of you using it to bar someone from the presidential candidacy. No state should have that power. Because if that happens, then it would create a domino effect from state to state. And with the corrupt set of people we have in government these days, it is likely a chance to see that being something that will affect the Constitution in itself by them being able to use that. This is why they created the Capitol Hill riots, because they had to fake an attack or create an attack bad enough to say it was an insurrection altogether, and then the blame falls on who? Trump, because you use Trump words. You try to manipulate Trump words in order to say that's what he was saying. So a state does not have the right to do so because the state can't prove that he's an insurrectionist at all. There are a lot of questions that remain, said Donald Sherman, chief counsel at the liberal watchdog group Citizens of Responsibility for Ethnic in Washington, D.C., which filed the suit on the behalf of 6 Republicans and independent voters seeking to remove Trump. Listen to this. The ethnic responsibility and ethnic in Washington, D.C., you know what I'm saying? The council at the liberal demon Democrat bullshit watchdog group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethnic Responsibility and Ethnic in Washington Responsibility and full of shit. Talking about ethnic, the garbage, which filed a lawsuit on the behalf of 6 Republicans, 6 crooked ass Republicans, and independent voters seeking to independent crackhead voters who need to get a crack pipe. They sell them at the boteca, you know what I'm saying, seeking to remove Trump from the Colorado ballot. You see? That's it. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. You know what I'm saying? They should not be allowed to do that. And this is what we're beginning to see. You know what I'm saying? A total breakdown of our system, you know what I'm saying, based on the United States and the garbage in which you are doing. You see what I'm saying? The garbage in which you are doing. You see? And then want somebody to go for that. Nobody is going for that at all. Let's just be honest with you. Nobody's going for that at all. You know what I mean? So I don't get why in the world would people engage in such a behavior in to begin with. You know what I'm saying? In to begin with. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things going on that we have to start to consider to look at in more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? But we see the kids involve state office holders for very much often left open. You know what I'm saying? We see the law professor at George Massey University has defined of the insurrection, what it means to engage in it, what kind of due process guarantees or requires all those issues may have to be dealt with in the future. Of course. You know what I'm saying? Of course. Like get creep Joe Biden them out of our government won't hurt at all. You know what I'm saying? Won't hurt at all. When we look at this whole insurrectionist bullshit that they try to trump up. But in order to get an insurrectionist in the first place, they had to create what we call an attack, such as we see with Hamas and what's going on in the Gaza Strip. It's the same thing. They have to create an attack in order for it to be legitimized in the minds of the people. They can't get that any other way. You see what I'm saying? They can't get that any other way. In more ways than one, this is what we're facing. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're facing.
Man, Seagulls, not only is their season been streaky.
Hold on a second, people. That's what we're facing. In more ways than one. You know what I mean? Now, when we look at it here, we got another one coming on trending. You know what I'm saying? We see 4,655 people read this. You know what I'm saying? We see we've lost our minds. Ben Carson slams, squatters' rights after New York family home taken over. Warn Americans will be destroyed from within if law-abiding citizens aren't protected. Oh, you can forget about that, Mr. Carson. Just opening the border alone prove that. Just letting everybody in our country coming over that border prove that. Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? When you spend millions of dollars buying your dream home, you naturally appreciate the freedom to live in it. Yet, the gap between expectation and reality can be, startlingly wide. You know what I'm saying? In this situation, what we see, two people in their homes somehow have been, pushed out of their home due to the fact of Mr. Carson has a good point. You know what I'm saying? He has a good point on this. You know what I'm saying? He has a good point. He said, meet Susan and Joseph, Landa, who bought their $2 million dream home in New York City, suburbs of Douglaston, Queens, in October 2023, only to discover a squatter within it. You see what I'm saying? Imagine that. They bought a dream home with a squatter in it, squatting his ass off. Oh yeah. According to the New York state law, squatters are classified as a tenant and receives temporary rights as such after occupying property for 30 days. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of bullshit. But the landers, you know what I'm saying, predicament quickly made headlines and captured the widespread attention with several of this. Oh yes. You know what I'm saying? This is a problem that people will have to solve, and the government should have stepped in and do that. It's all right that, but you can't sell a home to someone and then find out that you have a squatter in it. That's not a home sale. That's a con game and some trick shit. You know what I'm saying? Because whoever sold them the home should have cleared that out before selling the home. You know what I'm saying? We got another one coming in. If you're on the fence about voting for Trump, you know what I'm saying? Again, watch this and try not to laugh. You know what I'm saying? Who gives a flying fuck? You know what I'm saying? The State of the Union is an insult to our intelligence. You know what I'm saying?